can't stress how important it is whenever you've got a very flat surface like this, to use a block with a good flat surface, and make sure your surface of your block is flat. Don't just like take a block of wood from your scrap box and just look at it by eye and go, yeah, that should be flat. Because if it's even slightly dished or concaved in any way, it will sand that shape into the surface. So don't be scared to take a straight edge ruler or just anything that you know has got a good flat edge on it, and check the surface of it. But if you buy a satin block that's, it's made as a satin block, it's not something you've made yourself, then you know you're going to be okay to use it. Already I can tell that's pretty much down below the surface. Okay, so that's a 120 grit paper. Now I have some wet and dry paper. So that's the next thing I'm gonna give it a go with, the wet and dry. That'll take that kind of dusty grey look off the finish, if you can see that. So you've got that dusty kind of grey look, and that's just from all the wee score marks that this here leaves. So we're going to go to the next grit. Okay, so this is just a 320 grit. So you can already see that this is starting to really come back to the black kind of surface. We just take the dust off the paper by slapping it a few times. That's much better. Right, well, it's just a matter now of just wiping down the surface. I'm going to just put a potentially wee drop of water on it. And this is a wet paper. With this paper, I'm just going to give it a wee bit of a squirt. And this is the paper that will put the sort of shine back onto the surface. But I'm not going to go mad here, so I'm not. As you can see, this guitar, it's not a very shiny guitar, to say the least. Okay, so you get this kind of a white stuff on the surface. It's kind of a paste, and this is the particles that come off the sandpaper, and this is what really puts the shine onto it. As you can see, that's sort of as good as the rest of the neck, and that isn't even the final finish. Now you would go on up to um, wire wools and things like that, and then polishing compounds. If you wanted to really get it up to this glassy finish, you would use like pumice and things like that, there, volcanic stone. But we're going to stop here. We're not going to go no further than that there. There's no point with this guitar being the way it is. It's just a waste of time shining up this here. Well, these are the screws that go into the guitar, and what I want to do is I just want to sort of take a wee measurement of the thickness of the actual threaded part, just to give myself a rough idea of what sort of size I want my drill bit to be. Now, whenever you do measure for the drill bit, always measure in between the threads, and then you want to, even at that, you want to pick a drill bit that's smaller than that measurement. Now don't measure the outside of the threads, because the hole is just going to be way too big and the screw isn't going to bite. So you still want to go with a hole that's going to be smaller than that, but it's just as kind of a reference more than anything. And this is the measurement here. Now I'm not even going to bother reading it. I'm just going to take a drill bit and just compare drill bits to this opening here. Right, well I was going to use the drill press, only I'm just lazy. So I'll just put it into this here, and I'm just going to be very careful about how I do this. The first thing I want to do is I want to put a center in. And what I'm just going to use for this here is just, this is just a center punch, or an awl. You could use, there's a few different things you could use. Even just a good pointed star head screwdriver if you don't have anything like this. Alright, well, rather than drilling down into it this way, like this is kind of at an awkward height, I'm not going to do that. Alright, well I had the neck in this vise over here, and I've just moved it over to a different vise now. Now I didn't want to be drilling down at that angle, so I'm putting in this here vise, and it allows me just to drill in here straight. And I'm a lot more comfortable drilling this way. It's as simple as that. It's just the same for all of them. The only thing you really need to be very careful about if you're doing something like this is that you don't come out through the other end of the neck. That really wouldn't be good. As you can see, yeah, I'm going in brave and deep, but I'm not going to the point where it could be coming out the other end. So it's just a matter of me putting this back onto the guitar and doing the first thing now. If you remember, we were saying that there was a shim put in underneath this neck, so there could be, we could have to take this neck back off again and put the shim back into it, or put a shim back into it. I'll not be putting the one that was in. The one that was in was like a piece of paper or something, and that there isn't going to cut the mustard. Okay, so I have a wee box here, and this is a wee box that used to have bits from, you know, for routing in it. And what I do, I just use this box now. Anything that comes off this guitar that has to go back onto it goes into this box, and it stays right here, so it does. And that way I know that everything that comes off has to go back, like everything that has to go back on, it's in this box. It's on the table, I don't have to go looking for it. Because a lot of the times I take stuff out of the box, I set it down, and then, you know, 20 minutes later I'll put it back in the box again. So you get a lot of that kind of stuff going on here. Okay, so just before I put this guitar back together, I'm going to give a bit of a clean to this table, because I've been taking out tools and not really been putting them back. I'm just getting ready to put this guitar back together again. It's just the neck going into the neck slot, and I'm just going to run you through the sort of best way to do it, and the mistake that somebody else made when they were putting this guitar together. Okay, I'll change the camera angle so you